One.
Hey everyone, welcome to an unexpected episode of TPI Total Podcast Idiots. I am Chris Ham, aka Loobins, and this is, I think you guys might know him, current national champion, gards710. Look at that, it's beautiful.
Hey, how's it going, Chris?
It's going well, man. It's been a long time since we've done one of these, but I know we'd kind of there was some chat about, potential matchups. We do a podcast, things like that. And when I really started seeing you make a run, I was like, I know you're gonna have to do something for it.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think the last one I did of these, I mean, I think I looked at some other champions after I won my 2038 title. But obviously I couldn't go as much in depth with those. So hopefully we can go in depth with this, just like I kind of did, I think, with 2038. Um, Maybe more, this one may be more focused on like tactics and roster
yeah,
building. The last one felt much more like celebratory because it was my first with Dominican in Division One. Um, and I think we fielded questions, or I fielded questions for that one. And we don't have
yeah.
we didn't field questions for this
We
one.
can
So
pretend. We'll pretend. We can go into the Discord and live read people's comments if we wanted to. But
yeah.
no, I think you're right. Like maybe we'll get like a overall retrospective or like a kind of a little bit about the journey or some thoughts that you might have changed throughout the season tactics wise. But I think you're right. People, I mean, they can dissect your rosters, but it's great to hear it from the man himself, kind of how you built this team.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. I'm not experienced with Zoom. I just opened the Champions page because I thought that was uh, a good, start to. I wanted to talk at first about like the meta that I felt was building in Hardwood. Um, because I mean, just you just look at the past few champions. I particularly think to like New Orleans, Temple to I'm not sure about UNC Asheville. Maybe I forget how they were built to be honest.
Yeah, I do too.
Um, but like Ripon, um, even Alabama, Westfield to an extent, especially there's current edition, these recent editions of Westfield.
Hmm.
Um, and particularly like Xavier, didn't they just win a Legends title, I think.
Yeah, a
And
couple
so
years ago.
what I'm alluding to here is like a lot of people are building through size. I think that's like the really, really big factor. Not no pun intended. Um, with with these rosters, right? Xavier is always talking about their 7 footers. New Orleans is running, like 6'11", 6'10" shooting guards. Um, Temple had a 6'10" point guard just the past few years, and a 6'8" shooting guard as well.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's obviously we all value like height in our big men, especially, but like
Hmm.
bigs on the perimeter is what seems to be like kind of building. Um, And so I kind of have leaned into that some. One of my backup wings is 6'11", and now he's going to start this year. So that'll be interesting. But my team this last year was not uh, big on the perimeter at all. Reardon, he's, um, you know, he was what player of the tournament, I think is what
Hmm.
the
I
award
think
is
so.
called. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 6'2" or 6'3". I don't even know. He's not very tall for a shooting guard. Collins is 6'5", which is, fine for small forward, big for point guard. And so he split time. He started at small forward, then shifted to backup point guard.
Hmm.
And then Turner is only like 6'3". Um, so, I just, not that I'm saying like, oh, like the meta is wrong or anything. It's just, there's several ways to win, right? Several ways
Yeah.
to succeed. Um, but yeah, I mean, coming into this season, you and I have talked a lot about it. I didn't feel like this team was gonna do a lot of damage. We came in fifth in Legends, which felt about right. Um, and then yeah, we went on this run, which was so. I mean, I think it was lucky.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I think every run like this has to have a little luck to it, right? Where like, I mean, the tournament, obviously the final game, injuries, things like that. Like, I think
Yeah,
that can happen, and it's just it is what it is. But I mean, you don't automatically win those games still, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean, I lost the national title whenever my opponent had their best big man just out, and I thought it was mine for the taking, right? So like it happens where I think you need a little bit of luck, and I think you need a little bit of that throughout the season.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the fact that you were talking about those shorter guards. I'm actually looking at Frank Reardon's page, who, what a monster. I mean, these outside shooting range. I mean, you love seeing these high rankings on the SI, but um, I think it's interesting you talk about like not necessarily being a counter to the meta, but seeing everything getting bigger and seeing everything on the perimeter getting bigger. In theory, like a bigger, stronger, or bigger size, like weight and height would be harder to get to move around the perimeter a little bit. And so those small guards, maybe they take advantage of it, things like that.
Yeah.
I like to conceptualize Hardwood in my head sometimes like it's a real basketball game, and I know we all probably do that. And it's fun to picture like kind of these normal sized guards or whatever we would think for maybe college or at least, 10, 15 years ago in Hardwood, kind of running circles around these guys. Not saying that's what happened, but
Right. Right.
it's
Yeah.
fun to imagine that.
I'm certainly not saying it's like a counter to it
Yeah.
at all. Yeah, no, I think I was very scared of facing, teams that were had a lot of size compared to mine. Not that I even
Legends
had
was
like
crazy
bad
with that.
size. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right though. Like there was a lot of luck involved, and I think that's necessary, like you said, on any of these runs. Like obviously the injuries to Prairie View and the championship game were like huge. Um, I definitely think I would have not have been favored had they been healthy. Um, let alone, win. I have, who knows?
Yeah.
Hardwood, anything can happen in Hardwood. But yeah, but like even my second round opponent Wheelock, they were missing their starting point guard. Um, which I mean, to be fair, they were missing him in the first round and they won. But yeah, I mean that's a huge piece to their puzzle.
Hmm.
New Northwest Missouri State was missing like a rotation guy, which wasn't a huge
That's
deal,
right.
but
Yeah.
it helped. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we talked about whenever I initially looked at that matchup, I was like, oh, the depth might be like I think that might have been a strength for him initially, right? But then with those injuries, it was kind of like, well,
Yeah.
no.
It's not like, yeah, it's not a huge piece for them, I didn't think, but I think I talked about this in 2038. Like it just reduces the amount of like combinations you have to plan for, which
Yeah.
helps a lot with just like your mental load in game planning, basically, which for me is a big thing because like I can only put in so much energy
Yeah. I think
into
we all probably should be doing that if we're not. But yeah, you can only put so much time into scouting in Hardwood, right? And it's just
yeah.
another variable that gets taken out of there. And so you can scout, if you're scouting four guards instead of scouting five or six, like that does kind of help the mental load. Maybe it makes you make better decisions, makes you less tired mentally. Like,
Mhm.
no, but I mean that's a fair point. I think like when I look at the tournament winners and stuff, I'm always like luck definitely comes in, except for last year when Temple just steamrolled everybody and like Legends
Yeah.
and that. And it was like, okay, this is just accepted. But uh I mean I'm excited because I know we talked about obviously we're talking a little bit about building the team, things like that, but you've told me privately that you thought this year's team was going to be better than last year's team at
Yeah.
the start of last year, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to win the NBA title. I don't know what they can do to exceed what you did this year. Maybe a Legends and a Natty. What are you thinking?
I mean, yeah, I think I was anticipating this upcoming season's team to like, yeah, be competitive in contending for the Legends title, and yeah, maybe making a run. I definitely didn't think last year's team was going to do that. A lot of that had to do with um, Les Collins had like no listed proficiency in small forward position.
Hmm.
I don't think. Maybe it's like lowercase or something, but and neither did Patterson. And so uh, that's why I did, building that through the season, they wouldn't be like the highest level, during the most important games, even, maybe they would be capital or lowercase, but they wouldn't be like your top. So that's one reason why I thought 2049, this upcoming season would be better than last season. But I mean, looking at the rankings of like TPI, like doesn't seem that way,
Yeah.
which is strange. I mean, a lot of strong teams and strong programs are coming up and being built, and that's really interesting. Yeah. So I mean, I'm definitely happy I got I got that win now. Now I can not rest on my laurels, but like I don't need to. I don't feel that like urge any as much. right now. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like being a fan of any sport, right? Like you want the chase. I think like you want it chasing the title and chasing the pack like almost feels a little better sometimes than like being the defender
Hmm.
and the expectation that comes with that because like I think that is a natural thing in sports. But no, I mean you're right. I'm looking at the top 25 poll. We've got DUCA coming in at number 11, which would make you the 10th Legends team I think on there.
Yeah, it looks
Um,
like it. Yeah.
it is I mean, it is a star-studded top 25. Legends, granted, I think they do always get the little, Legends like bonus or buff because I
Mhm.
think we were ranked like in the top 15 last year, which is insane. Didn't go well. But no, I mean, I think it's gonna be a really competitive conference this year. I'm interested to see how DUCA shakes out now that I think the build of this team is a little different than last year, as we talked with that Phil Patterson on the perimeter. I think he's gonna be a really interesting player.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he's a recruit that I know you were really excited for a while back, and he's just such a fun build.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's really tall,
Yeah.
but he's like super fast and you can see his stuff, his ratings are just more perimeter oriented. And so, um, I think I remember when NAF put out like his initial preview on something and he like listed Patterson as like a backup big, I think, or something. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh no, he's not playing inside. I
I
thought that
like
was
the idea
funny.
of him looking at the roster and being like, "This doesn't seem like a guards guy. This guy seems weird," because you're right. Like you look at the size and you look at that, and you could see like, okay, maybe especially lower league levels or stuff. Like I think he could squeeze in and play some of the spots, but he's gonna get a little weird with it on the in that small forward position potentially.
Yeah. And yeah, the other reason why I thought this upcoming season's team was better because would be better because Reardon and Collins I knew they would be the leaders now.
Hmm.
And I think they're bigger offensive threats than Turner was. And I can kind of show you that. I mean, I think that was the case this past season, right? They Reardon and Collins led my team in scoring, and Turner is down here, at like 10.5 points per game.
Hmm.
18%, almost 19% usage for point guard is like pretty low
Yep.
actually. Um, three turnovers, a little over three turnovers a game as well. So like that seems really low. And actually, I wanted to get into this a little bit. I had Turner on like minus or minus double minus like the whole season basically. Um, very few games he was like neutral. I never put him at plus. Because I mean his ratings, I don't know, my passing is all messed
No,
up right
that's weird.
now,
Yeah.
but like his passing is elite, IQ is elite or great. Handling is good. His outside shot, I always value the outside shot a lot more than like inside shot or range. And
I
so
think that's
that
smart.
being just 11, it's fine, but it's not like give him the ball and let him cook like type of
Especially against
rating.
the caliber of defender he's likely going up against in those high. I mean, I think that makes
Yeah.
sense. Getting a guy, I do think that like that's one of the things when I've noticed more successful teams, at least that I've had. You do have some of these guys that are just really solid role players where it's like he has a job and he's going to do it well. Like that's kind of, and he doesn't have to do the scoring. You've got those other guys to potentially do that. And I think that's what you see with him being so productive in that role.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And like you can see his other ratings. We're gonna have to deal with that bot page,
That's okay.
which is funny. You can see like especially his defense is like crazy good. He's fast, and so I thought that was really important to just let him play that role basically. Yeah, like
Mhm.
you said. Because I thought he could excel at that. Yeah. Um, One thing I wanted to note, we're on Turner here. I usually don't recruit stamina, high stamina players, but Turner just happened to really have it. And so he played a lot of minutes relatively for me. Like I know it says 30.5 here, which is, like not outrageous of a number even for me, but like that is suppressed by a lot of non-conference games.
Mm.
Um, I think, and so I had him at like 35 at max, like late I think in the championship game, I had him at like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And so like, he could handle 34, 33. I had him at 33 or 34 throughout most of conference, which is a really high number for me. Like, I'm not going to show my game management yet.
No, good call, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I could, I don't really care, but but like you look at the program single season minutes records, right? There is no one that I managed on the single season. The first year I entered a DUCA. Oh, sorry, Cho is one.
Yeah,
Um,
Choate's on there, but that's the Choate. I mean,
yeah,
is that
Cho
Deshaun
three
Cherry?
times. Sorry, I always forget about Cho. Cho's
Is
on
that
here three
Deshaun
times.
Cherry? I remember. I remember.
No, that's a different Cherry. His name is
Okay, 'cause I thought.
Deontay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with him. Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean that's before my time. So my
Yeah.
first year at DUCA was 2013. So Marcus
Oh,
Choate
wow.
is the only player on this um thing. And I mean he has 19
Yeah,
stamina,
I'm
right?
like
So
reasonable. Yeah, having a player like Marcus Choate. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are some presidents who would have put him at 40 minutes. So like,
yeah, yeah,
and that you
definitely.
might have done that in some games, but he probably wasn't playing, the non-con like you said. I think that's the opportunity to get those young guys minutes.
The highest I ever put Choate as like 38, I think. Um, if I'm being
Tournament
honest.
game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tournament. I think that was like the final four, whatever, one of those 2027 games. Yeah. Um, but yeah, if you go through like the rest of the minutes things, like you'll see more of my players like the total minutes for like their whole careers, because now that's taking into account like all the postseason games that I've accrued.
Yeah.
Now it's littered with players, so it's like it's never one game relying on them. It's all about like this total uh build up. Yeah,
Well, that's what happens when you make the tournament every year, right? Because you have a shadow deal with the admin. I think that's the
yeah,
discussion at this
yeah,
point, at least.
yeah. Basically, well, I have a shadow deal with the admin, but then I lose to UCLA on every
I know it's
big
like there's
recruit.
a perfectly balanced, I guess. Although, some of those years you might take the recruits over making the first or second round.
Yeah, I don't know which one I'd rather have. I mean, like results are results, and I think everyone would take results, but it still feels bad losing recruit.
Yeah. Nothing feels worse than seeing like a player that you very heavily recruited, like on the All-American page or on the All-American voting in the Discord.
Yeah,
Sometimes I just see a player and I'm just like, okay, thank you for
yeah.
reminding me of what I could have had. I was having a great day, you
Oh
know?
man, yeah. I think I saw Lloyd Norman from UNLV, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I wanted that guy.
It was hit.
Like
Kruger was, I think, on there at one point on some of the
Kruger.
voting. Like that
Yeah,
was another guy, but UCLA.
yeah. Other dudes. Yeah, I definitely got hit with that a couple times
Hmm.
this season. Yeah, I was like, oh man, when Indiana posted that like that they had a forward from California, or I guess he's a point guard, like a 6'5" point guard. He's from California.
Hmm.
I invested in him initially, and then like he was a backup option for Turner in that 5-star Blackburn I got in
Oh,
that
right.
class. And because I had to choose, I was like, well, I guess I'll go with the 13 pots over
Yeah.
the 11 pot.
As you do. Yeah.
But Holmes, that guy led Indiana to the Final Four. He was a big part of it, at least. Yeah. So
Chip on his
like,
shoulder, man.
yeah.
It's a big deal.
Well, thankfully I didn't have to play them, else he would have really, had a
That's
revenge
true.
game against me.
That's true.
Yeah, especially returning 38, 2038's favor. Yeah.
Hmm.
But the other, I also want to like Reardon and Collins also played big minutes because their stamina is also really high, and Mata too. Kelly, my other big man, he had 12 stamina, I think. And so not to, we got off track.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, no, no worries. But like this isn't a very good example.
Fair.
The Methodist game, I remember all of my starters played over 30
Oh
minutes,
yeah.
which is like super rare for me.
Yeah.
In a
Like
non-OT
high
game.
20s. Like I feel like high 20s is where I remember seeing some a lot of like a lot of your guys. Not
Yeah.
necessarily, the really high stand guys if you are playing them for a game or two like that, but I feel like you do a really good job of spreading the minutes around on the pitch, which I think that kind of makes you get that nice development over their careers a little earlier than some other teams, things like that. I think it's a big key.
Yeah, yeah. I've talked about how this all like plays into like how it all works together synergistically, in my opinion. Like with the pace I play at, you can see like I played +1 in this game. I was +1 for most of the season this season. Um, and I played faster, and I think like the minutes and pace relationship is always like really important to me. Was balancing. So yeah, and then like you said, dev being a big part of that too. I really prioritize dev. So giving the bench guys those minutes uh helps with that. Yeah. But when you're in a deep tournament run, I had to cut minutes for some guys, so
Yeah.
that's why you see some of the
That's
yeah.
when you get a little crazy with them. It's okay to roll the dice a little bit and give your guy 35 minutes because you're like, well, this is really important 35 minutes. So makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And then I mean you guys can probably see the audience can see like other tactics, that I ran that I did want to get into, so I'm totally fine with revealing these. Especially it's in the past and I don't typically do this, although anyways, yeah, so I played +1 for most of the season here. The big thing with this run, I think, is I played a lot of zone. Um, and so you see like 65%. I do not play 65% zone typically.
No.
Um, and so like this helped against Methodist, but what the game that changed that really was the game against Northwest. I was about to click that. I apparently play them pretty late in the season.
Hmm.
The Northwest Missouri State game. Oh, no, um, and so I was lucky because Northwest Missouri State, their conference opponent, and so I have two other games to look at
Yeah.
for that, and so um, show you how that worked for me. So this game here, right? They were leading the first half. I actually slightly outscored them in the second half, and so part of that is because of this adjustment here. I won't say what triggers that adjustment, but you can see like it's more zone,
Mm.
right? And so that seemed like a pretty big change, right? The extension didn't change very much, so
Yeah.
I didn't think that was what did it. And then here, like I outplayed them in the first half, got blown out in the second half. I don't think like I played zone, but like sure, I mean maybe who knows? I don't know. That first half, maybe I should have taken that. I don't know. I didn't really think about that because I've overall nothing changed in the second half, but I
Yeah.
got blown out. So
Yeah. Big discrepancy there. I think it makes sense to take the other game instead of this one.
yeah. So the takeaway here should be that to play more zone, I think.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm trying to lead us. But and so that's what I did against them. I played 60% zone and I luckily won. There's lots of reasons for that luck, I guess. I shot really well from three or pretty well. Um, but yeah, I think a zone was like the big part, at least, that's what I took away from this game.
4 free throws is insane.
Yeah.
Looking at that, I'm like, I mean, it's a low foul game, low turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, relatively clean, I would say overall.
Yeah, it seemed like such a clean game. I have no idea why.
Which is kind of what you want to see, I think, at that point, right? You don't want to get like nobody wants to have an important game end on like one of your guys fouling 5 times in 12 minutes or something, or
Yeah.
like, just the unlucky hardwood things that happen sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know. That would suck. This Methodist game, I also was like pretty low free throws, very
Mhm.
clean game.
Yeah,
Which
that's weird.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
8 fouls for you guys. Wow.
I know, yeah. I actually think I technically got unlucky, like 8 free throws for 8 fouls versus like I guess that's not that unlucky. I guess that's pretty even.
It's close, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I played zone here. I think I told you this. It's because it wasn't just because like it seemed to work in the engine. Like there was matchup reasons for that.
Hmm.
And so the reason for that was Turner, right? We just went over my point guard. He's great defensively. He's a little short, but I was going up against shooting guards that were like super dangerous to me.
Hmm.
Um, the main ones being Methodist guy McGowan here.
Gallon's so good. Yeah.
Um, let's see, there was Louisiana Tech's guy, I think. I
Yeah, I
want to,
think I think their best player was their shooting guard, right?
yeah, Edmonds. Edmonds
Evans.
was
Yeah,
like
isn't he
super
super high
dangerous.
SI?
I don't know how his SI was, but like they just fed him the ball a lot.
I know
Like
he's hot. Yeah.
167, um, like 14 shots a game and
Yeah.
8 threes. Like, yeah, that's a lot of threes.
40% from, I mean, that's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Hmm. And so I wanted my point guard to like defend them more. Their shooting guards were not as big of threats
Mhm.
to me at least. And right, like my shooting guard comparatively, Reardon's not awesome at defense. Like he's fine, but um yeah, like 19 versus 13, big difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted Turner to match up with those guys. I think yeah, yeah. So that was the big thing why I went in zone. Um with one of the bigger reasons why with that. Yeah. Yeah. I honestly forget if Prairie View also, like, if their big threat was a shooting guard or not. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, Redmond. I mean, that dude's, how could I forget Redmond? That's also a matchup. Like
Oh, that's
a
right.
six,
Yeah.
seven, like 17, 18 shooter.
Yeah, he's huge.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, crazy, crazy good. And so again, I wanted Turner to like defend him more. At least in my head, that's how zone works, right? You're like
Yeah.
kind of, switching matchups some. And so yeah, that's why I went more zone again in the Prairie View and M matchup too.
No, I think it makes
Yeah.
sense. I think that's a like that's something when you're talking basketball, like when I'm looking at zone, a lot of times I'm thinking inside. I'm thinking, not like, and then they might break that. And you want to kind of move it around a little bit, but I think it is interesting to look at it from if this guy is going to have more, if he's going to be more on ball, like or rotating, like you said, and he's
Mhm.
just got that much higher of a rating. Like I want to give him every opportunity I can to defend their best player.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I want to reiterate, like I think it started because I had played Northwest Missouri State like twice in conference, and I had gotten to see, because I lost both games in conference, I'd gotten to see what didn't work, and I think that's the reason why beating a team 3 times in a row is like so hard, because they get to see what doesn't work better than you can see what does work.
Yeah, I think there's a really strong argument to that, especially about like if you're in the winning position and you won those matchups, like do you want to continue what you were doing? Because they obviously have a very good scouting report against that if they're able to take those weaknesses and kind of tweak them. Whereas coming from a position of strength, you have less unsure, like there's just less question marks that you need to work on. And I feel like that might lead you to to a tougher chance of winning that. Like you said, all 3 games is it's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's whether like complacency, not saying like Housley is like was complacent, but it's kind of like I think I think the analogy is like you play your best cards, and so if you've already played your best cards and you won, then the other person can adjust to that. Like you're
Mhm.
probably not going to go away from your best cards if you won. Like they worked, okay, like go with that, right? But the other person can, whether it's like this attitude of like, oh, I've got nothing to lose, which I kind of did feel like, I was not favored.
hmm
I've got nothing to really lose, so I'm going to try this, and like that also helped with making that decision. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. I remember we were talking this game and like it's funny because DUCA is just not historically his own team. I mean, or like I think that's very fair to say. And
yeah,
so it was funny where you're like, we're kind of like, what is too much zone? We were kind of
yeah,
chatting through a little bit of like, what can we realistically run? Like what's heavy zone, And it's a funny question to ask because obviously it depends on the user. But I mean, clearly I think the adjustment worked.
yeah. I mean, to give you some context, like this is how much zone I typically run. Like this is my default tactics for the past season. Um, yeah, so 65% is about double that basically. So yeah, like, and this is, yeah, my first round opponent, Rollins, who I was scared of because their point guard was actually really good.
hmm
He was the main threat. So I wanted to try to funnel the ball to their shooting guard more so, or their small forward. Actually, their small forward is pretty good too. I forget. Um, but yeah, like, and you can see like the big men, like they didn't really score much inside, neither did we though.
hmm I
But
was
yeah,
gonna say very little scoring inside.
the game plan was to try to like limit Tomlin, which we
Yeah.
kind of did some, but definitely it was a close game. Like I got super lucky again, so much
Yeah.
luck with this run. Like I think I had a 6 point win against Northwest Missouri State, um, 5 point win against Methodist, 9 point win against Wheelock. Like really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good argument to be made that, and I mean, obviously the game would have been closer with Prairie View A&M if they were healthy, but I mean, I think you genuinely felt like you were not favored in that game if they were healthy, and I think looking at the tournament run, I mean, I remember the Rollins one where we kind of looked and it's like, ooh, a little closer than we than we might have liked, especially with your 19 perimeter defender guy on him. So I think like it's a little scary, but the end games the result was unfortunate just because of the injuries, but I mean, making it that far in the tournament requires some luck too. So
Yeah. I mean, given how we were playing in the first round, how we played in the first round and how we kind of played in the second round, like if I played against a healthy Wheelock or Illinois Springfield,
No,
not that I don't know the exact matchup with Illinois Springfield, so I don't know exactly how we would have really matched up, but like obviously they were a good team. They're well run by Coach Matt. Um, and like I think I would have lost if it was a healthy Willock or Illinois Springfield.
hmm
Um, yeah, so definitely so lucky. Again, I want to reiterate that I was not overlooking anyone this time. I think I definitely like in as I typically do, I increased how much time I spend game planning. Um, I think for the Final Four and the Final Four is the scarier matchup just because of the injuries to Prairie View and A&M. So against Methodist, I think I game planned and thought about this game for like 3 or 4 hours at least. Not straight, like just, like,
of course, throughout the day, like
yeah,
during certain times, I mean, I completely get. I mean, I've sat in all sorts of meetings or things like that, and sometimes you'll have that matchup come into your head, and you're like, how can I exploit, or like, or what do I want to spend my recruiting points on? Like, I completely get it.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, what other points I wanted to hit? Yeah, so the zone defense also helped because so the way my three perimeter players went, right? It was like Turner at point guard, Reardon at shooting guard, and Collins at small forward, but he could play any three of those.
Hmm
And Turner though could play either of the backcourt spots. But Reardon, I didn't. He was too small to play small forward. Being 6'2",
Yeah.
and I didn't trust him enough at point guard. He could play point guard in a pinch for me, but I didn't want to like put him there to start the game. And so that's why, like if felt more confident in Reardon shuffling around, I could have just switched the matchups and just gone man.
hmm
But I didn't, and so that's why zone was like the option that I went with. So that's how you kind of have to like one of the ways you have to like think about your team and your roster though. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can only game plan with the guys you've got. So I think that makes sense to sometimes look at the weakness or look at the ideal situation and be like, if I can't switch to these positions or if I can't get that ideal defense set, what's the second best kind of choice? And I think in that solution zone definitely worked out. I'm looking at Frank Reardon's build. I inverse or less wingspan is just wild. I mean, that's 6'1" wingspan on 6'2.5. I'm like, but this guy's got so many. I mean, I see where you're getting about playing backup point guard in a pinch too, but uh, I mean, he definitely looks like he can score with the best of them.
yeah, yeah. I remember earlier we were on his page and I had like my cursor on this row and like it highlighting the wingspan kind of, and I was like, oh, I don't want to highlight that because that looks bad. Now we did. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry. Now we know the weakness for all the
Yeah,
Legends teams. Although I
yeah,
don't think
yeah.
they need help scouting because I do think we're just a point to make about Hardwood in general. I do think this is like the most uh talented, like, or
Mhm.
there's not talent, there's just better presidents now. There's more of them than there ever have been. And
I
I feel like
agree.
it
Yeah.
continues to go that trajectory where it's not just a couple mythical presidents or whatever who people were looking at. And now, like, I mean, you have teams making runs all over the place in some of these tournaments.
I agree. Like I think the amount of talent, like you said, yeah, and skill, like to game plan, it seems really high right now.
Hmm
And we've got these teams like coming up, like LL 4 or 5, and like they look like they're going to be really good. And you know, sure I have this like legend streak. I'm wondering when it's going to end and like how and when and how I'll get back.
Yeah.
Because they're coming, man, and it's scary for me. But
Yeah, there's only so many spots. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't change.
yeah. And I mean, I do hope people, I do. It's a little bit of hubris and ego for me too, of course. Like, I do hope people like realize like how hard this has been to do. Not like, oh, it's been such a hardship in my life. I'm not saying. I'm saying like there's a degree of difficulty to this to survive this long in one conference, let alone legends. Um, and I don't know if people like understand it enough, you know, because I'm not the type of person to like want to fluctuate like up and down,
Yeah.
have those high highs. I've been lucky to have, win a couple championships now, and so those are highs for me. But like, I haven't built these super teams, that almost seem destined to win,
Yeah, I mean we've seen a few of those. I think you're right, where like, and we've kind of talked about that, right? You've had the like big superstar, or
Hmm.
you've had the player that like the Discord keeps track of throughout the season on how they're performing before.
Yeah.
But that wasn't on this team, and that hasn't necessarily been a big part of this run. I mean, you did have Choate, a couple of those guys, but I mean Hoff was pre Legends, if I'm remembering right, or was that right at the end of it?
Um,
Right
he
whenever you made it? I can't remember.
he played in LL2, but yeah, a few of his years were in Legends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no. And I mean, I'm not trying to I don't mean to throw shade or anything on the teams that have built super teams. I mean, I kind of wish I could. I just don't really have that mode in me, I guess,
Yeah.
to recruit at that level all the time. I just don't want to go for 5 stars all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just so competitive with how Hardwood has seemed to have gotten. Like that's also made it very hard. So, um, yeah, no, I mean, I just again different ways to build a team and win and all. So,
Yeah.
um,
Different ways to win in hardwood for sure.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. There were other keys. El Jefe had pointed out to me a couple times how through the run, I don't think it's available now. Darn. Because when you go back in years on your stats, you can't do the tournament specific
I
tag.
hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I mean maybe if I could manipulate the link, the URL possibly,
I'm
but
sure it probably exists out there. Yeah, but I mean, it'd be finding that, right?
yeah, let's see. I can test it, but I have no idea. T1 2049. Yeah, so it has the year. Okay. Let's try that. T1. Oh, it does. Okay. So it does
Oh,
work.
okay.
Okay, sweet. Messing with the URLs on hardwood, it helped. It can do a lot of wonders. Um, so the thing he had pointed out to me was the OFG percentages of Mata and Kelly. So again, these were my starting big men,
Yeah.
and in the 30s for your
Great.
bigs is crazy,
Crazy.
defense. Yeah, I mean obviously small sample size, but my interior defense was very good, and
Yeah.
all credit to them. Um, I mean Kelly was the greatest defensive Pokemon of all time. Stakataka, that's his nickname.
Uh,
uh, I mean, I don't know about greatest defensive Pokemon. It's the highest defensive Pokemon, I guess.
yeah.
But a 15 defense is great. It's not, crazy world beating, but his measurables, his physicals are not great.
He's not, I mean, he's not a giant, right? I guess
Yeah.
which is it, the strength isn't insane,
Yeah.
even with the newer, and the speed is average, I would say,
Y-
for a big man. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's not a world beater, right? He's an 11 pot. He's not that tall, not
yeah.
that heavy. His wingspan is certainly not crazy. Some of the ones being posted in Discord sometimes are wasn't there a 7'9" dude posted?
Yeah. It's like Wimbenyama. We're just seeing Wimby stuff, and it's like now this is normal to have guys with, airplane arms. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and there was a 7'3" guy. That's the first 7'3" guy I've seen ever in hardwood.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, yeah,
It's kind of that's I think that's the best part about hardwood is when we get those really one day we're gonna get an even higher potential guy than we've seen, because what is 16 the max we've seen, is that right?
I think we've seen 117, right? Wasn't it
17
17?
was
Yeah.
17. Okay, yeah, I'm but they in theory they exist, or they
Right,
could. And
right,
I
right.
love
Yeah,
that whenever we get that finally, so like a 7'3" guy, 7'4" guy, maybe we're gonna hit 8 feet on wingspan, who knows, we're getting crazy with it.
yeah. I mean, especially yeah, with the pots, because if you think of it, it's like a bell curve, right?
Yep.
That's how I think about it. You'd think we'd see more 17s because 20 should be that little sliver,
Yes.
right? And so 17s, that's a few points away. So it's that should be, I don't know,
Like a four
3%
pot. Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it if we're on a curve like that. I'm like, we do see, but even then, with the really low potential guys, I don't know that you see those all the time either. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm not necessarily
Yeah,
looking for
that's true.
two potential guys or three potential guys, but
Right, right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many one pots or two pots we see, right? Um, but yeah, I would think we have seen more 17, 18 pots for
Yeah.
sure. Maybe my percentages are wrong. Maybe I don't understand standard deviations very well.
It could also there could also be another. I mean, if it's not just based on that, like a percentage from that, it could also be something in the system that Steve has where it's like, breaking glass or break in case of emergency type thing. Like it only happens so often or something. I'm
Mhm.
sure there'd be a way to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
probably a little more manual programming than he might want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd just rather be like, no, no back-to-back national champions. That's the one he keeps pressing. Um, but I wanted to contrast those defenses with their like season defenses, right? So like Kelly is 45%, Mata is 46.5%, like big drops, big drops. And I mean, sure, some of that could be like quality of opponent kind of, but I mean, I because Legends is stronger technically than the opponents I faced in the tournament. But like also there's weaker Legends teams versus like these are all tournament teams who are theoretically pretty strong, right? So it's like should be pretty similar, I would think.
Although
Um,
you did talk about when you were talking about the way you prepped on some of these games for the tournament, most of it was perimeter oriented from how you were like the threats you were worried about at least. So maybe it is like just with those 4 or 5 teams, you might have seen a higher focus on like the big man being the focal point in Legends or something like that that might have hurt those guys a little more.
yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, because like what Maris, Seton Hall,
Mhm.
New Orleans, they all like focus interior for the most part. Um, I don't know who else, to be honest, off the top of my head. But like Assumption shoots a lot from three.
Hmm.
I think Georgia Southern was a little bit more perimeter oriented. Um, oh, Eastern Kentucky was very interior focused though, because they had that center, right,
Right.
at Luco. Um, right, obviously like Westfield and Temple were very balanced though. Northwest Missouri State was pretty balanced for the most part. Yeah, so you're right. I don't know how that plays into it, but like this run, yeah, Rollins was more perimeter oriented. Wheelock was more interior focused.
Mhm.
Northwest Missouri State was pretty balanced. I thought Louisiana Tech was pretty um, perimeter oriented. Methodist was interesting. They were like kind of like inverse because like their talent was on the perimeter, but I think they had like a 6, 7 point guard who like attacked, who went inside a lot. So that's like the inverse aspect that I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. It's still hitting those points of the paint, things like that, but it's still perimeter guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Prairie View was pretty interior focused in my opinion. And I'll talk about that. But I wanted to highlight this Louisiana Tech game a little bit first. Um, because like I said, I thought they were perimeter focused, right? And so like I went +1 on my extension, and you can see like I had a small lead at halftime, but then like we blew them out in the second half.
Hmm.
And I mean, sure, we went higher zone, but we also reversed our extension. And I thought that was really interesting. Again, I don't want to say what this adjustment is and what the trigger is, but I'll just say this was a super interesting adjustment. Yeah. And I'll say the second half, obviously it seemed to work. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it clearly, I mean, going from the slimmest lead you can possibly have to a 30-point differential in the half, that's crazy.
yeah. And again, I did adjust some things. Obviously, these are not my defaults, but like, it's not like I anticipated this happening, like I don't
Right.
think I'm some like, obviously I can't tell the future. I don't think I'm some great like tactician. I think I'm good, but I don't, and I'm not trying to like do my own horn, but I think, um, I think this is just a lot of luck again with this too. So yeah. But I wanted to point that out because like this really confused me. I told you about it,
Yeah.
in more detail, but yeah,
Yeah,
this
it didn't really
super
make,
confused me.
yeah, it doesn't, at least, I mean, I'd love to see people's thoughts on it, if they want to provide some thoughts in the comments or in the Discord, but like initially looking at that, I don't feel like it's not super clear to me
Yeah, yeah,
why that worked so well. But it did. I mean, clearly it did, but it's like, we talk about luck, but clearly there's some form of that shift from the strategy in the second half. But I wonder, like, I do wonder if Louisiana Tech, maybe there was an adjustment on their end, or there was something they, because that's all it takes is it just didn't go right for them, or maybe they switched into something to potentially be a little more desperate in the second half, or who
Right.
knows,
Right. I
or
think, yeah.
aggressive. I should say aggressive, not desperate.
Well, but yeah, no, that's what I agree. Like you, obviously there's another piece of this puzzle on
Yeah.
from their end. I don't know what their initial game plan was, and I don't know what adjustments were made because you saw like I think they took what, 14 3-pointers or something, and
Mm-hmm.
like their season average was 21. And so yeah, that's way below average for them.
Great
That's this is
difference.
again, I thought they were more perimeter oriented, with Edmonds,
At eight threes
Stewart.
a game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like, the percentage is pretty good, 37%, and like these two guys especially
Yeah.
pretty good. So um, yeah, it was weird to me. And like 34 points in the paint per game is good. Like it's definitely not like, oh, you're only shooting from outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they were a bit more perimeter oriented. And again, I think this is kind of you have to keep it in perspective, like to your team, like maybe to some team, Louisiana Tech would have been scary attacking inside, right?
Yeah.
But to me, they just weren't as much. Like I trusted my interior defenders a lot more. You can see Mata, he's only an 11 interior defender. Like it's not that good. Um, and then we showed Kelly at 15. So it's not like I had great interior defense. I think I had better perimeter defense, but just in comparison to Louisiana Tech, I
Yeah.
was pretty confident. And then I pulled up the Prairie View A&M game, championship game. I guess we should talk about it a lot more. So the big thing was I went, at least in my opinion, we talked about the zone, but I also went -2 to start with, and then it even increased to -4. You can see, their game plan looked very interior focused.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of that has to do with the injuries. Um, I think two small forwards were out for them, and one of their starting power forward, I believe, is what it was. And yeah, I mean that's going to be a huge impact all over, and with two small forwards out, I mean that's going to hurt their perimeter shooting a lot. I told El Jefe this though, and maybe CWB is going to get a little. I don't know how he'll react, I guess, but I don't think he let Redmond shoot enough threes. Obviously this game he only took two threes, right?
Hmm.
That's definitely not enough for
No,
an
not for
18
that. Yeah. I
seed.
mean, 18, 17. Yeah.
But I mean, he only took six threes like a game, the whole season.
What's 79 inches? What's the height on that? Just,
6'7", six
I was
seven.
gonna say, yeah, I mean, he's,
Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to do this.
oh no, oh no.
Oh no, sorry.
No,
Okay, I won't ever
no,
do
that
that
was, I
again.
mean, that's fair, fair. That's gonna hit with some part of the audience.
Yeah, Jesus.
Especially the ones who have kids now too, I'm sure. But no, I mean that's a 6'7" shooting guard with that type of like in my mind, I would think I'm having that guy shoot more. So I definitely get where you guys are coming from.
Yeah, so that's one reason why I thought they're gonna try to attack me inside. Um, on top of obviously like they averaged 44 points in the paint per game, like all season and in the tournament. So it's very clear like that's their game plan. I mean, for good reason. Like this dude Dario Torres was crazy. Like I remember matching up with him like uh in a game before in a tournament game a couple seasons ago, last season, I don't even remember. I like when he was a sophomore, and I was like, this dude is nuts. Um,
He does look pretty nuts.
yeah. And so for good reason, like you focus on the interior scoring. I mean, Marty Keller also pretty good.
Yeah,
This guy Ben Joyce, Brock Joyce, sorry, Ben Joyce is a pitcher, right, in baseball.
I think so. Yeah,
Um, but like 17
great. Yeah.
shooting. He was shorter last season, to be fair.
Oh yeah, yeah. Got a little taller.
And so but, like this guy's very good. Keller, darn good too.
Yeah,
So
very solid offensively.
yeah, so I totally understand like why
Yeah.
Prairie View focus on the interior, but yeah, to me it just like screamed they're gonna try to attack you inside. Um, and so that's why I went, -2, and then I still again wanted to cover for like if Redmond was gonna shoot a lot. So that's why -2 instead of like harder. But then once it was clear they were attacking in the paint, we went harder in. So
Yeah, adjust to the strength that they're playing against. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
yeah,
I think I
yeah.
do need to note though, as you break down Prairie View A&M's offensive philosophy, we might need to send a clip of this to a certain Hungarian international who might be considering Prairie View A&M, just to show them, there might be some more offensive opportunities elsewhere if they want to take them. So
Yeah, I wanna look at this guy though. I mean, I know this is a retrospective, but like, man, this guy looks crazy. So Prairie View A&M is recruiting the I think is he the only 15 pot
I think
in the
so.
recruiting pot?
At least in the international. I don't know about
I don't know how to use all this.
the
Oh,
senior.
oh,
The
Chris
Kearns. No,
Kearns.
yeah, I should have known this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so not landing Doug Kearns that I've just not thought about him.
fair, fair. I
I've
think
tried to be a hater, so I don't think he's gonna come.
yeah. I mean to like totally fair. Like this battle looks is it the most contested battle in the country, I want to say?
It's got to be close, or it's that, or there's like some JUCO big man who like has 40 bots on him all at low or something. Like that'd be the only one. But like this does feel. I mean, what are we looking at here? Like 8 teams getting to high potentially here,
Yeah,
because
right. I think so.
Louisville and LSU have to move up. I think they went down. I think LSU went down after the flip on Kearns. I think they were at high.
And
I think
Eastern
Louisville.
Kentucky just demoted, so that's
Yeah.
maybe why. But they were probably higher, or they can get higher.
I know that the
Yeah.
thing with this is that I know there's two teams on here. I don't know as well how New Orleans recruits in state, but I know that like Louisiana Tech and LSU both just dump tons of points on in-state big
Mhm.
time guys. I mean, I think Abercrombie went to Tech. Was Abercrombie LSU? One of
It was
they both,
LSU, yeah.
yeah, and then there was another guy, Copeland, maybe I can't remember the last name.
Blanchard was Blanchard
Blanchard,
there
that's it.
too.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
went to Tech and I mean, I think like reasonably, I'm like these guys are probably going to end up in at one of those two schools, but sometimes it's nice to buy a lotto ticket and see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. So let's talk about your Hungarian guy though. Um, I mean, yeah, looking at this scouting report, this eval, it's nuts. Like, I don't typically go for internationals, but like I thought about it for a second, but then I think I refreshed the page and you were like already at medium. So,
Yeah, I think it was funny because we were looking and we were just waiting and waiting and waiting because I know we were both looking for certain things at the flip. And then we hit the internationals and I think you sent like, oh, the internationals kind of suck. And then
yeah.
there was a refresh and I just send you this guy and you're like, oh, I did not see him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I forgot about that. 'Cause like I think I I think I only saw like one 13 pot. Um or maybe two, and like one of them was that like 80 that 6'11 Turkish guy who's like a small forward. Um
What was that big man is it Shu from China?
that's
What
ex
was
oh not BYU. They're on a
12?
Ukrainian who I thought was interesting. Who's
Oh, okay.
some shoot. Oh man, what team did I say it was? Because someone just shot up on them. Yeah, and I was like, oh
Oh,
well,
it
that kind of
wasn't. It's not. No,
I'll
it
just
wasn't
look up quick.
WMU. It's not Rollins.
Die, right?
Spalding? It wasn't Spalding. No.
Simpson,
Simpson.
Simpson. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
right.
yeah. One of the newish like presidents, but they're in like LL3, so
Yeah.
that's kind of why it scared me
I
off.
really like this guy. I like this guy a lot.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. Like obviously
280.
big, like he's obviously tall, but like 280 pounds. Oh, oops, 280 pounds is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna end up what? Possibly 320. I mean, that's
Not
crazy.
that high, probably 300.
315. Oh, you okay? I was thinking. Well, do internationals have less weight gain, or is weight gain typically about 2025?
Um, I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with internationals,
Yeah.
but I would assume 20 to 30 pounds. Yeah. But like obviously with guys at like this end, like sometimes it's even more, so it's
Yeah.
hard to say, right? Remember, I had a guy, I think he grew like 85 pounds from his high school freshman year, with Cal, I'm pretty sure.
Was that no,
His name was
I can't
Salvador
remember.
Ortiz.
Salvador Ortiz, yes.
Um, I don't remember which ID he was.
We can click in on a couple of
Yeah,
these
this
guys.
guy.
Oh, good guess. Yeah.
I because I didn't think he was like super early, but yeah, he grew 80 pounds, right? And 175 to
Great.
255, right?
What
So
if they have him on in Berkeley? You know?
I don't know. But like and you see like these like Zhu is already higher than this
Yeah.
guy.
I mean, it's that's one like I think the 15 pots are exciting, but like seeing a guy who's 100 or 280 pounds and that big, like that's just immediately like, okay, I want to have that guy just sit in the paint and bully people.
I mean, you know where I'm going next, like
Yes, I knew,
with
yeah, I knew we were getting to Angel Rays.
dang, he's 49 years old now.
Oh,
Like 270. So like I think we can kind of equivalent Shu to this.
yeah.
Like he grew 40 more pounds. And Shu's a little taller though. So yeah, maybe Shu gets like 315, 320. That's
I
possible.
think
Oh,
we could be looking at a 320, and I wish that I had the points to be silly with this, but
I know, I
that's a
know.
really fun player.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully I haven't shown how many recruiting points I have. Well, it doesn't matter
Good
to me.
question. I don't know. I don't know.
But the thing that I really wanted to point out was like the speed. 10 speed is crazy for a guy this big.
This guy's a freak of nature. Like
Yeah.
this is like how as a kid I remember like Yao Ming coming over where I was
Right.
like this doesn't like I've never seen a guy like this. Like this guy's
Right.
very exciting.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's not like 6'11 is obviously very tall, but
Yeah.
like, man, imagine if he's like 7'2" as well.
Give him a double growth spurt. Let's get a height growth spurt and a weight growth spurt.
Okay, maybe I should invest in him. I mean,
Yeah. I'm like, right?
yeah. But obviously the eval, excellent shooter, excellent all-around player, great defensive player, good post player. Like it's he's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
I'm
Solid
very
rebounding
scared.
for no comment, which is nice.
Okay, so whatever conference Simpson is in and what conferences they are in, let's keep them down so I don't have to ever face this guy. That's man, that
What
guy's
a
crazy.
logo there.
Yeah. Oh,
Really.
it looks so similar to USC.
Oh yeah.
What was there other stuff, other questions you maybe had about the tournament, I guess? I
I
kind of
think
got off track.
I think the big one that I had, and we covered it, I think, pretty well, was just the adjustments throughout the season, right? Because like I know you'd started the season pretty hot on a nice home stretch, and
Yeah.
then as you went into the tournament time, you had some tough losses, things like that. But I don't feel like you, and this probably comes with a lot of experience and also feeling safe in the conference, partway through. I feel like you didn't panic and switch it up too much
Yeah.
where you might see some presidents as those results are starting to, you see some of those losses. It wasn't a ton, but back to back, and then a win there. But like I think that could make you question something. Oh yeah, three losses right there. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I think you did a good job being level-headed about that, and I'm curious on what your thought process was as to why you didn't switch it up more.
Oh, that's such a good question. Ooh, man, I really don't know. Yeah, I think, like you said, a lot of it just has to do with like the comfortability I had, having gone on this stretch here.
Yeah.
I think I told you I went like 7-1 in this home stretch, which was, helped boost me up. And so, yeah, a lot of it had to just do like I was already in a comfortable position, kind of just like projecting out where I thought wins in the second half would come from. Seemed like I was going to be fine. So
Hmm.
that was definitely part of it. Um, I would have been more panicking if I was closer to demoting. Yeah. What would I have really changed though is the other question I thought of because like based on my roster, my two bigs were like clearly my best,
Yeah.
Mata and Kelly. The only other option would have been to like put Pizarro in for Kelly probably because Pizarro is a lot taller.
Hmm.
Um, and like he provides a little bit more speed, um, and like a little bit more offense, I'd say, than
Yeah.
Kelly did. But that kind of would have been one of my first adjustments to maybe make. But again, like I don't think it would have really helped. Versus like, obviously I have Patterson and Hayes, they're good SI wise, but they're not going to play over Reardon and Collins like in almost any scenario.
No, you had too many. I think this was like and we talked about this before. I think there was a time a couple seasons ago where you were like working down the line. You're like, I don't know that I have minutes for like for all of these guys. Like if they're gonna pan out the way that you expect them to. And I mean
Yeah.
that backcourt you had last year, like those perimeter guys you had, I mean, it was very strong at the top. And I think it was hard for those guys to bust in, which is why we're excited to see wide receiver Phil Patterson. You know,
Yeah, wide receiver. Yeah. Number
83 height,
83.
83 player. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's why he's number 83. That's right. Yeah, that's
I
another
love
reason.
it.
Um, yeah, so like yeah, Hayes, I mean, he's a redshirt junior. You'd think he could start, if I had played Patterson as a big, like Hayes should start, but I don't
Mhm.
think he'll ever really start for me. And like part of that is his own dang fault because his dev is not great. like a 9 in his redshirt year,
Yeah, a
10,
10, yeah.
and
Him
13
with 10
solid.
minutes a game. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. So, and like he had good high school dev, okay at least, like 16, 18, okay, and then 9 and but
Yeah,
then the
slow
12,
down a
like
little bit.
this should be way better than what I've
Yeah, I mean,
gotten.
for what that is. Like, if I was, because I think we all use our own different scouting methods. Like, I would throw that in a formula and just have it done by like, average dev over year for the full high school experience, and I'd have been like, this is pretty solid. I would feel much better about that guy. But I think we've all
Yeah,
had those weird players where they just don't develop like
yeah,
the way you would, and it's I guess that ceiling is just lower than their SI may or their potential maybe, and they might need 20 extra college seasons to get there. But
yeah.
now I mean, good role player though, right?
Good role player, yeah. And I mean, like he's a 12 pot. Like, yeah, he can play any of the 1 through 3s. Even honestly, I have him as like a fourth string power forward as well. Because like
I could see it.
9 interior defense isn't
Not terrible.
terrible.
He's not super
Wingspan, weight,
weak.
yeah, is okay. So yeah, he's a good role player for sure. The other question, yeah, was like K, right? Redshirting K, which didn't have a big effect on like my season results, but
Hmm.
it was a big thing because basically like if I had not redshirted K, he would have been backup point guard and gotten 8 minutes a game,
Yeah.
which sure I would have avoided the red shirt, but like he wouldn't have the dev, it wouldn't have been worth it, I don't think. And like I could give Collins those minutes basically, because he's I think pretty suitable for a point guard too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Those were a bunch of the changes those were the main things I thought about for changes. Um, yeah, throughout the season I like switched Kelly and Mata a lot. I mean, not a, I don't know of a lot, but some, right? You can see Mata kind of double digits in both power forward and center.
Right.
Kelly also double digits. Obviously, they lean one way, but they shuffle around. It was weird. I was like looking at it. Like some people just like straight alternate the games, right? Like one of each.
Yep.
But I'd play them in like blocks. I'd play like Mata at power forward for like 3 games, and then he'd switch to center for like 4 games, and then Kelly would be the reverse of that. So I thought that was interesting because I was like, there's like weird patterns that you get into, right? And like comfortabilities, I think.
This sounds like you've played too much CJBL and you're actually blocking off your minutes, and now you're looking at it from that perspective. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe,
But
maybe.
I do like that concept though, because I think I have been I've just in the past, like, switch depending on, but I like the idea of, maybe consistency is developed in this game by, like developing the habit of playing in that role more often or things like that. Like, so it
Yeah,
does, we don't know exactly how it works. And so it is nice to kind of create that little head canon of I'm going to give him a little more time here. I'm going to do this. And it clearly worked out. I mean,
yeah,
like you said, not necessarily super impressive defenders, at least like elite defenders. But that was a pretty ridiculous OFG that you were seeing in the tournament run for those two guys.
yeah, yeah. And like it was matchup based. It wasn't just. I don't think it was like this thing. It's just something I noticed, like
Mm.
that I was doing. And I mean, if you look at my rotations in CGBL, they are awful. So don't take it from me there. Yeah. Um, what other things? I think the last thing we can go over, or a couple of things. I just had, I wrote some notes just
Yeah.
after. Um, having Turner as a senior point guard, I think is so huge. Senior point guards are like crazy good, I think. Um, all my like most, not my best teams, but my most surprising teams had senior point guards. Um, right? Like the 2038 national champions. I mean, those are also one of my best teams. So I don't
Hmm.
know. In both cases. Like 2034 Final Four team, I think I came in 13th in conference. No, sorry, ninth in conference, 13 seed in the tournament, and we
Yeah.
went to the Final Four because I think a lot because we had a senior point guard, Josiah Stafford. Um, I think back to 2042 winning Legends. I did not. That was the team that like didn't have a player over 170 SI, I
That's
think.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that had a senior point guard. And it wasn't even like an experienced senior point guard. It was a guy who I shifted from shooting guard for the previous seasons. Yeah. So like yeah, senior point guards are crazy good, I think.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I do think that from a position standpoint, like, and it makes sense, obviously, like kind of the leader of the floor, the guy distributing the ball. Um, I've struggled so much in my career with young point guards, especially when you bring in those like five-star guys or whatever. Like, you want to give them minutes there, and it's trial by fire, you know. And I think
Yeah.
having an experienced guy there just feels so much better to start the season. So that's an interesting correlation.
Well, so that's the question I face this season, I think,
Yeah.
and next season, I guess too. So Collins, I think, based on depth chart, he would be the guy to step in. But
Hmm.
obviously, K looks like he should be the next guy. Um, but K, yeah, as a freshman, Collins, I mean, he's not a senior, even he's a junior, so he'll also probably struggle. But yeah, the question is like, do I give K those minutes now in hopes
Yeah.
that like in the future he's that elite senior point guard or upperclassman point guard, or do I just take the short term upperclassman and give him those? And K will get the backup then, and then so he'll build up just slowly.
I think there's some argument to be made that as we were talking about adjustments, I think there is some argument to be made that adjustments might happen throughout the season depending on, how you feel like you're safe in conference or if you feel like there's a potential for a title or a relegation. Like maybe, then you might look at a little more minutes for the young guy if you're feeling like, you're going to be kind of steady. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think K is going to be really good, but it does worry me a little bit. I think he's got
Yeah,
a good build. Clearly looks like he's a guy who's going to be a very big piece of the puzzle in a few years. But I think, like you said, I mean, next guy up almost in your mind of like, I might trust that guy a little more. He's been there longer. He's 4 years in the system. Makes sense.
yeah. I truthfully don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I know what way I'm leaning, um, which if anyone needs to know, I guess like go look at NAF's previews. Collins, I'm leaning towards having him be the point guard,
Yeah.
the starter, um, right? Because then that allows me to play start Patterson basically,
Yeah.
which I'm clearly raring to do because I just want to see what a 6'11" small forward does.
Just not a typical. I mean, like he's a fun build, and I think sometimes it's nice to have those players, even if they're not like if you don't have the most confidence they're going to be a monster you have questions about them, things like that. But
Mhm.
just Hartford's about, it's a game. We should have fun. So it's fun to do.
True. Yeah. I think I initially recruited him as a shooting guard, technically.
I remember that. Yeah, I was imagining this guy as like just pull up threes from like the court at 7 feet tall almost. It's crazy.
That's what I imagined too.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
we
dream.
see what we see like Wembenyama doing that right now. Like it's crazy.
It's true. We need. I'm like, what pot is Wimbenyama if he's a Harvard recruit? Right, right. Like it's got to be like a 19 at least. I would think. 18. I
Yeah.
mean, like if we're
Yeah.
talking from like the way they talked about him coming into the draft, I mean,
Well,
got
it's
to be
weird
up there.
because like real life, it's definitely like potential takes the height into account, whereas like
Yeah.
hardwood doesn't take height into account of the potential.
Yeah.
So like in real life, he's a 20, right?
Yeah. That's fair.
But like in hardwood, mathematically speaking, I don't know. I don't know if he's that high. I mean, obviously he's high, 19, yeah, or 20.
Yeah.
I'm just that's the debate, 19 or 20. Like who knows? Um, but yeah, I think that's about it. I think there was one other thing, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Just like the green lights that I had,
Mm.
like I think you could tell based on my stats page. Like Reardon and Collins were who I was trying to funnel the ball to. That's why I pretty heavily leaned towards 3-point shooting or like perimeter offense.
Hmm.
And I mean, we were good, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
worked.
Fair.
But like I want to highlight like Mata. I had him on a plus green light for most of the season, and so like I just me, like I had to have that balanced
Yeah.
attack a little bit more. Um, and so both in terms of like how many players are involved, but like also where on the court you're scoring from.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so Mata gave me that interior threat, and to go back to Turner, like it's helped by him being on that like lower green light and being so good at passing. Like we could just, I thought, spread the ball around a lot more. So yeah, if anyone had questions on like that, hopefully that answers that.
I do have one question for you. I think that you
Okay.
didn't expect about so we talked DUCA teams, right? And like some of your best teams. Um, what's the spread if who's favored if it's 2038, 2048? And I'm curious on what you think they're favored by.
Oh man. Okay,
Huh.
that 2038 team was like what Ford, Hickman,
Yeah, it was really
Crawford,
good.
Ford, Grace, Watson. That's like I had like a big six basically.
Yeah.
And then like I had some bench guys, Cook and Farmer and Pittman, who were good, but they were just underclassmen. I was thinking about this, not this exact question, but I was just like thinking of the lineup, the roster,
Yeah.
and then versus this team. Though, I mean, they're such different teams. I mean, I think 2038, it was a better team like on in performance, first off.
Yeah.
Like they won Legends. Um, they were the number one team in the country heading into the season. They were the number one team in the tournament, and then obviously won.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're on the greatest hardwoods team of all time list, right? That's what I mean, which is obviously a really tough thing to do. So I mean it is fun to imagine these guys playing against each other. We might need somebody to do like a 2K sim or something, build it out. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah. But like this team, yeah, I don't think this team is favored, but like how much is the margin, the line that I'd put it? I don't know, like five, -5 for 2038.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like this team, like obviously Reardon and Collins, it'd be tough to see how they'd like try to beat Ford, the two Fords, Hickman and Profit, like, because those dudes were crazy defensively, in my opinion.
That's true, but
Um,
10 more seasons of experience. In hindsight, you'd be the one planning these games too. So now you have 10 more,
oh,
you know what I mean? I'm like, that's
oh, interesting.
more
Hmm.
experience. You're kind of even more of a veteran now.
That's a good point. I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I still think 2038. Yeah, would still be favored. Yeah, maybe it's a little
fair.
closer, but um, yeah, no, and I don't know who stops Randy Watson. Like, am I really thinking Mauricio Mata is stopping Randy Watson?
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
like,
know
that
about
team was
that.
a problem. 2038 was very good.
Yeah, man, like that's a great question though. I don't know, and I think the big advantage this team has is Phil Patterson actually. That 2038 team has nothing to answer Phil Patterson.
We better hope Phil Patterson has a great season after that comment. He's got to, you got to back it up.
I
That's
have, I, yeah, I have big
I believe in
expectations.
him. I believe in him.
I have
But
big expectations for the 11 Dever. Dang.
look at that freshman year depth though, so good.
Oh yeah, no,
So I mean, I would hit that and I'd be like, this is awesome. And then you get the 11 and you're like, all right, well, this is fine, I guess.
before the flip, you see it was only 8, and then I was like,
Yeah. Some of those flip devs, like it really does save your perspective on a guy where you're like, this is, and then you get that big one and you're like, okay, now I can feel good about
yeah,
actually this guy's future instead of him being a waste of a scholarship. But
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. That's a great question though. Yeah, I think that about covers it. That definitely hit all the points I wanted to talk about. And like all my thoughts, I think. But yeah, anything else on your end?
no, I just, thankful for the hardware community. I think it's nice that in our absence of doing some of this stuff, we've had a lot of people step up and do different podcasts, things like that. And
Yeah.
I'm excited for the season, man. I'm hoping we both have great years.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to, yeah, I should reiterate like the community, obviously, as always, and especially the Discord, um, has been so helpful and so good to me and to new players and other veterans too. Um, because obviously like new players can get help, but I think it helps keep veterans sharp and on our games. And so that's super helpful. Yeah, the other podcast, the newer one, which they're doing really fun things. I think
Yeah.
in our place. That's been really fun to see and participate in some. Yeah, and I don't even know what else. All the data analysis people are doing. It's interesting, crazy to me. It's kind of gotten away from me, but I think it's yeah. That's one of the reasons why I'm so scared of other people.
Yeah,
'Cause
fair, fair. Yeah, people are getting too smart with some of this this we're gonna have like AI teams winning legends and things like that. Like when's the challenge of I'm gonna let AI game plan every game,
yeah,
your
yeah.
team. Somebody's gonna do that at some point.
Yeah, pre-recording, we talked about that a little. I think I remembered who it was. It was a student of mine in real life. Um, I convinced them to join the game, and then they did, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm going to use AI, ChatGPT to like game plan," and it was like working for them.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
apologize. We have a friend's dog staying here and she's very loud, so
I barely heard it. I think I heard it kind of, but not really. Okay, and then yeah, I think that about covers it. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for talking about this with me, Chris.
Yeah, for sure, man. Good luck to everybody this season.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to you. Yeah, hopefully you can promote back up, and that'll be fun to have you in Legends again.
If we land this player, we will all be Hungarian citizens in Conway. We will, solidarity. Very excited.
Are you gonna, well, obviously you have to land him first. Are you gonna redshirt him? Because that's the other meta like developing, right? Like
Mm, I
the
think
redshirting the five
I
stars.
think you kind of have to. Like I think like I've never had a 15 pot player, right? So if I landed him or Doug Kearns, I think I would redshirt them to just see what I get. You know what I mean? Because you don't, some programs do get 15 pot players all the time, but or often. But I mean, like I would be wanting to, I'd want to see what the max we could do in college. And I think like the idea of, like an Ollie man talking development and stuff like that and going to the league, like that's always stuck with me of trying to maximize that. And so while I might not feel it's as important with like a 12 pot, 5 star or 13 pot, I think 15 I would have to.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Imagine you get lucky on the dice rolls and you get both.
Oh, I mean that's the yeah. I mean I'd be a nuisance. So we'll see. But I would take one, Steve, if you're listening. I would take one.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll put that in to the
Yeah, I
algorithm.
appreciate it. Hey, if he can get you to win the national title every year that ends in an eight, the last three, I think I can get a 15 pot. Which good luck to you in 2058, I would say, or
Yeah,
good luck to
yeah.
everybody else, I guess.
Well, I mean, like I said, the other pattern is I need a redshirt sophomore Canadian 13 pot on my
Yep.
team. Because Barry Ford filled that criteria, Les Collins filled that. 2018, 2028 technically didn't, but those don't count.
The secret sauce is Canadians, people. That's what he's telling you. The
Yeah,
secret
I
sauce
mean
is
that's
Canadian.
the meta. Like when I hunt out of region, like Canada is one of the first places I go. It's fun. Yeah.
I've been perusing. I was looking at the flip and I wasn't loving it, but
I like it's not always
no,
great.
I was like, this is where my point guard's gonna be, and I was like, maybe
Mm,
not.
hmm All right. I think that about covers it. So signing off for this rare edition of Total Podcast Idiots, huh?
Yep. We'll see you guys next time.
Cool.